You're hearing KRLY LP Alpine 107.9 FM, The Mountain.
Good evening. Welcome to Living for Wellness. I'm Lori Stone, and I am so excited for tonight's show. With me in the studio is Dr. Steve Laverson, and he is a plastic surgeon. He's been one for 20 years after trained for 10 years. Well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you all that. I'm going to let him do that. But I also have my co-host, Lori Briggs, back here again. Thanks for joining me, Lori.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Mike Engineering, for engineering again.
My pleasure.
So, Dr. Laverson, I am so happy that you could join me tonight.
I'm happy to be here, Laura.
Is that mic comfortable? You can adjust that.
Okay.
Okay.
You're sitting comfortably.
You are, I think you're amazing. You're probably not going to just say that to the audience, but I want to say it. I think you're amazing. And I've heard so much good stuff about you, and I checked out your website and I saw a lot of great stuff, but I'm going to let you choose the greatness. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and, your background.
Well, we plastic surgeons are just, we're subspecialists. You go through medical school and decide what kind of doctor you want to be, and there's a wide range of possible choices. You can go into family practice or become a specialist, and I went into surgery, and then the surgery training program is years. You spend time at a university hospital working with professors and really taking care of difficult problems. And then once you train in surgery, you can further specialize in a surgical subspecialty. And I went into plastic surgery just because it's a natural fit for my abilities. I've always been an artist. I sort of drew my way through school, and plastic surgery was an opportunity to be creative. And the great thing about my specialty, there are many things I enjoy about it, but one of the great things is I don't just take care of one particular segment of the population, but plastic surgery is men and women and children and adults, and so really I get a broad spectrum of the population. Some of the other specialties, like for example OBGYN's mostly women, and pediatrics is children. You sort of segmental. You end up taking care of just one sort of sector of the population, but that's not true with plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm. So you said you're creative. How did you decide to do that? You just decided, did you see people and you thought, I can make them more beautiful, or how did that work?
Well, that's really probably one of the most gratifying parts of the specialty. Plastic surgeons and plastic surgery in general sort of gets a bad name. People associate it with vanity, but it's not that at all. Lori, so much of how we feel about ourselves is honestly what we see in the mirror, how we feel about the way we look. And that goes for everybody. I don't think it's vanity at all. We judge our own looks. It affects our confidence in social and professional situations. And let's face it, we're judged by others with respect to our appearance. And so when you can really help somebody look better, feel better about themselves, it's a great contribution to their well-being.
That's great. So I agree with you. And I was just reading an article actually about people, some waitresses in Vegas losing their job because of their weight. I've also heard statistics of people being just people that look better have more opportunities given. And it's not that it's right, but it's true. And so maybe that's another side of that too. Looking better. We are viewed that way. We do look at everybody that way. But I think it's important, like you said, about ourselves, because we tend to judge ourselves. And if we see something that we would like to change and it makes us feel better and feel more confident and go out and do the things that we were created to do, that's like the beauty of it. That's wonderful. So if someone's interested in a cosmetic procedure, but they haven't done any research, where do they start?
Well, my recommendation is to have a consultation and go see somebody and ask questions, and that's really the best way to start. I like when patients come in and they don't talk to me about procedures. They tell me what's bothering them, and we try to be we try to be problem focused rather than procedure focused. Patients don't come into me for surgery or for procedures; they come for results. So if they come and tell me what it is they'd like to accomplish, what's bothering them, usually there are 2 or 3 ways to do it, or there are alternatives. So if you go see a qualified professional, usually you'll get good answers. And that's why most plastic surgeons will offer free consultations, because we really want the information to get out there. And everybody's different. It's not like you can get the information that's good for you on the internet. You can see what's been done for other people, but it may or may not apply to your situation.
So, well, before I ask how safe it is, I was just thinking, give us an example, or I guess, I don't know, can you even give us an example of a typical visit? Like, what someone would expect to come in and what people usually ask for, or is it just so many variables it's hard to say?
It's so variable, Lori. We have our standard procedures, and I guess you could call it our bread and butter. I'm mostly cosmetic now. I did a lot of reconstructive surgery over the years, but most of my procedures are cosmetic now, or aesthetic plastic surgery. And there's face, breast, and body, and face will be there's two kinds of procedures. Two broad classifications, and those are procedures to help you look younger and procedures to actually change your appearance, make you look different. We do, for example, changing the shape of the nose. That'll change the way you look. But a lot of people come in and they don't want to look different. They just want to look like they used to look, or features of aging corrected. So, and then of course there's breast surgery, breast augmentation, reduction, breast lift, and then body surgery, body contouring, and those are the things that people come in for most often.
I think I would like that. I would like to go in and come out being just like kind of pull it all up.
Yeah, we'd like to be able to do that too. There are limitations like anything else, and we always want to get better and better results, but we're dealing with the human body, so I don't usually change skeletal features, the underlying skeleton, the musculoskeletal features. It's usually skin and fat we can lift, rearrange, augment, sometimes reduce, but there are limitations.
Mm-hmm. So you were talking about the skeletal. It just reminded me of a post I saw about the Barbie.
Yeah.
Do you think that, so people actually have things, and this is totally off, but it made me think of that. People actually take out ribs and different things to make their middle more slender and stuff? It's
possible. It's not that common. The ribs are important functional structures, and these are things that can be done, but there are risks associated with everything we do, and in America that would probably be considered extreme, but it's certainly possible. You can narrow the waist by taking out a couple of the lower ribs, make a longer waist. It's not something that I would necessarily advocate. It's certainly not something that we do routinely, but it's possible.
Wow. So how safe is it? How safe is plastic surgery?
Well, this is something that varies, again, on an individual basis. Most of the procedures I do are in the surgery center, in the office. If it's a minor procedure, I can often do it under local anesthesia in the office. If it's more major body contouring or facial procedure, then I do it under general anesthesia. And of course, you have to be healthy enough to have general anesthesia. And if there are underlying severe medical illnesses, then we have to address those first and make sure the patient is healthy enough. But in general, in the hands of a qualified specialist, cosmetic surgery is very safe these days.
That's great. And I should have checked out stats. Did you get any stats, Lori, on how many people actually are doing this?
Well, I can tell you it's more than we probably would imagine.
I know. More than they would admit, too.
Yes, absolutely. I had a question for you. So many times when I've spoken with women and men about plastic surgery or aesthetic procedures in general, one of their big concerns is that they're going to come out looking plastic or looking fake. What is it that you, as a plastic surgeon, counsel or do differently from maybe the Barbie surgeon to keep us looking natural and real?
That's a great question, Lori. And I think many people have avoided or continue to avoid having procedures done because they're afraid of looking artificial or fake or plastic. And really, it has to do with the surgeon's aesthetic sense. It has to do with the techniques that are incorporated. It has to do with a sense of proportion, harmony, balance, and also the patient's request. I mean, some patients come in asking for things that just won't really look natural, and I may not even agree with it. And in those cases, I just have to make sure the patient knows what to expect. But in general, I'd rather a patient look natural than operated on, and I really try and get natural-looking results. And that has a lot to do with the surgeon's aesthetic sense. The best way for a prospective patient or somebody who's interested in this to get an idea of what to expect is to look at that particular surgeon's results on other patients, because there's no one way to do this. In general surgery, if you go in for an appendectomy or a gallbladder with a sick gallbladder and it's got to come out, really the surgical technique is not as important. It's just getting it out and safely is good enough. But in this, I haven't done my job when I've done the procedure. I've done my job when I've gotten a certain result, and that means it's the consultation process, very important, listening to exactly what patients want. I can usually simulate the result in the office in the mirror. So that patient, when they go to sleep in the operating room, I don't want them to be surprised when they wake up. I want them to know what they're going to look like. So I'll usually simulate the results in the office and get their agreement, get their suggestions, find out if this procedure is really going to produce the kind of result they're looking for before we go ahead and do it.
Now, you were speaking to us earlier that you had a client who came in, drove quite a while to get to you, actually, made a request, told you what it was the look she was trying to achieve, and you had to, I don't want to say refuse her, but basically counsel her against it because you felt as though it was something that would not necessarily benefit her look.
That's true, Lori, and it happens regularly because in general, the decision to have one of these procedures is sort of a scale. It's like you see that scale associated with justice. So it's the same way with plastic surgery. On one side of the scale is the advantages of the procedure. On the other side are the disadvantages. The advantages are, how much of an improvement is this patient going to experience? What kind of value are they going to get out of the procedure? If it's going to make a dramatic difference and it's something that really bothers them, then it's a great advantage to them. On the other side of the scale, there's the disadvantages, and that includes the cost of the procedure, the risks of the procedure, and the downtime or the recovery time involved. If there's a procedure that's going to be costly, involve a lot of recovery time, and it's not going to make that much of a difference, then I'm usually going to advise the patient against it, or at least inform them thoroughly about what the risks are, what the cost is, and what kind of result they can expect. And usually I'll decide with the patient or let the patient decide. But yeah, if the advantage is not worth the potential disadvantage, then it's really not worth doing it, Lori.
Well, I really like that. Number one, you're very humble, and I really appreciate that. I like that in a man. But also, I just appreciate your honesty, too, because you will not just do it just because they want it. You will let them know. You let them know what they're in for, or you will advise them differently if you think there's a better way, or it might not be really what works for them.
It has to be that way, Lori, because really, in the end, if the patient's not happy, it's not worthwhile.
Yeah.
And if if I go ahead and do the procedure and they're not happy with it, or it wasn't what they expected, then it's not good for either of us.
Well, I just really appreciate that, and we're going to keep talking, but we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I'm Lori Stone, Living for Wellness, here in the studio in beautiful Alpine at the Mountain FM. And we're here speaking with, I have Lori Briggs, my co-host. Yes, she is. And we are discussing plastic surgery with Dr. Laverson. And you know what I was thinking? Everybody's going back to school, Lori, right, in town?
Yes, they are.
And all the mommies, it's time to maybe, now that they're going to have a break and the kids are in school, is it a good time to have a mommy makeover?
It's time to get ready for the holidays, ladies.
Yeah, that's right. Holidays are
parties.
coming. The little black dress is waiting.
Yes.
Well, actually, I heard it might be red now. I don't know if red's the new black. I
Whatever.
don't know
It's
for
going to
sure.
be strapless, and things need to be where they ought to be.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where Dr. Laverson comes in,
Yes,
right?
the best.
Mommy makeovers. Do you get a lot of requests for those?
We do a lot of body surgery, and mommy makeover, of course, is different things to different people, but whatever it is, it bothers you, you want to improve, you want to fix, you want to lift, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and you don't even have to be a mommy. Yeah. So you are the tummy tucks, or you're a tummy tuck specialist. I would love to hear about tummy tucks.
Well, Lori, the tummy tuck is something we enjoy doing, and the pregnancy, of course, it stretches out the abdominal wall, the skin stretches. A lot of women get stretch marks, things that they can't fix in the gym. And I want to emphasize that, because really, once losing the weight of pregnancy and getting back in shape, whether it's in the gym or running or whatever it is that you do, exercise and weight control are important. The surgery is sort of an adjunct to healthy lifestyle. Includes watching your diet, just good balance, and beyond that, there are certain things that pregnancy does to the woman's body that can't be fixed with diet and exercise. So that's where we come in, and it's the tummy tuck. I try to make the woman the most sexy and really beautiful that we can. And yeah, we're pushing the envelope. I have to admit, the bad thing about cutting out skin, and there is that stretched skin, and we remove it, there's got to be a scar somewhere, and that's the downside of the surgery. So what we try to do is hide that scar. We try to make it as short as we can, as invisible as we can, and place it behind the smallest little intimate wear that she's going to want to put on. So we try and hide the downside, and then the upside is shaping the abdomen, and that's something that I do probably, I would say, as much or more than anyone.
Shaping the abdomen, I can't even say it, as in, do you do lipo while you're in there and pulling the skin? What's all the stuff you do?
Well,
like,
sometimes
what can you do?
Well, we can do either liposuction, or what I do is direct removal of some of the extra fat, and it simulates sort of a fit appearance, and that's what, again, women don't want to look surgical. They want to look really nice and natural, and so that's what we try to do, make them look as fit as we can.
Yeah, well, Lori and I go to the gym together. We're accountability partners, but there's only so much you can do.
Today I was sitting there thinking to myself, okay, I've done all these crunches, I've done all those forward things and all those backward things on all these machines. I'm thinking, there's just got to be a better way. I had two 10-pounders, and I'm just thinking there's been some damage here.
I know, it's just like you could go into his office and come out and be like, there, voila. But we still need to take care of ourselves. We still, like you were saying, it goes along with a healthy lifestyle. And I'm glad you said that, because, well, I happen to be a coach and a weight loss coach. But and that's true. We need to get ourselves, do what we can, because we still need to be healthy for surgery if that's what their goal is. And we want to be healthy after too. We want to just have a good diet. It helps our complexion look better, even though there's products for that too, which we'll talk about. Maybe we'll cover that a little bit. But so what I'm just trying to think of like, what is your passion for that? Is it just like you have a new palette with every woman that walks in, or man or woman? I guess you have man, women, children, right? Or young adults, maybe.
Yeah, we get, with aesthetic surgery, the youngest I get is sort of the elder teen years, and sometimes parents do come in with their teenage kids that have been bothering them about a certain feature for some time, but in general, it's mostly adult surgery, and a lot of moms, and again, everybody's different, Lori. I'm here to help people like the next doctor, so I just address what bothers that particular patient.
So let's talk about breasts.
Once you get that tummy
Everybody
in
wakes
line.
up. That usually wakes up my engineer. Breasts.
Yes. Got to move up the torso a little
He
bit
likes
here.
when that topic comes up. So what is the difference between breast augmentation and a breast lift? And then also maybe you want to tell us the expectations, like maybe someone comes in thinking they're just going to be able to get implants, but really what they need is maybe both.
Yeah, well, it's true. Again, everybody's an individual, and you try to address their body and address their issues. But the breasts are important to the feminine shape, and the augmentation is making the breast larger, and that's usually done with implants. It's the conventional way. It's the operation's gotten better, safer, and more reliable than ever before. Because of some of the newer implants that are available. And the breast lift is say a woman comes in and she likes her cup size, but maybe after pregnancy or with some weight loss, they're sort of sagging, or they've deflated a little bit, and a lot of times you can just lift them up back higher on the chest, and they're less sagging. In San Diego, this population's an outdoor loving population, very athletic, very active. And a lot of the women don't want huge breasts these days. They just want breasts that match the rest of their body, good proportion, and that's
more natural.
Yeah, natural appearance, and we'll do that. And if it takes, sometimes you have to do implants and a lift at the same time. The implants are great. They fill up sort of the upper portion of the breast, and they'll make a lift last longer. So they're nice to use in many situations.
So how long does the lift, how long would that last, lift and implants?
Well, most of the surgery, it's the implant manufacturers are going to tell you that implants aren't lifetime devices. But again, the implants that we're using now, that are available to us now, are better, more durable than ever before. And you can't destroy these things. They're solid. They have nice texture, natural texture. The techniques have improved. So, and again, there are a larger variety of shapes available now. It used to be we just had round implants, but darn it, every woman's breast isn't round. Some of them are some women have a broad chest, and others are tall and narrow, and now they've introduced some biologically shaped implants so we can be more flexible and adapt the implant to the woman's situation rather than change the woman's body to fit the implant.
And isn't it also, remember, silicone used to be thought of as bad, and then they had saline, and now they have silicone supposedly is okay now. So silicone, saline, what do you do?
Yeah, well, this silicone implants are the most studied medical devices in the history of the world, and there was a scare back in the 90s. I guess there was a question of whether or not they were related to connective tissue disorders and lupus and scleroderma, some of these other things, and all the studies have really cleared the implants of any relationship to those problems, and so the FDA approved the implants. There are 3 manufacturers now that are marketing breast implants in the United States, and they're all great and very safe. So saline is still a choice. It's many women prefer saline implants, but I would say about 80% or more that I'm putting in now are silicone gel. They're extremely safe, Lori, and so you can come in the office during consultation. have a woman feel the implants and both saline and silicone and discuss the advantages, disadvantages. And
do they try? Do you have a special like bra thing that they can put them in and feel and see what looks the best?
Absolutely.
We'll put them inside there.
Yeah, we put a snug T-shirt on and put those things in a bra. They look at different sizes in the mirror, and yeah, that's always.
They get to just try on implants, huh?
Yeah,
that sounds fun.
It is, and you know, again, it just sort of simulates the result. Helps me decide what size to put in.
Do you do any type of reconstructive surgery after, say, mastectomy or double mastectomy?
I do some of that, and used to do a lot more. It's just the way my particular population has changed. But that's one of the most common operations we do as plastic surgeons, that is take care of women who've had cancer and mastectomy. These days, of course, many women have a choice of lumpectomy and breast conserving procedures, but breast reconstruction is still an important part of what we do.
That is great. So I want to talk about, you know what I want to know when we come back. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, maybe we can talk about some non-surgical procedures. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to Living for Wellness. I'm Lori Stone here at the Mountain FM, 107.9 FM on your dial here in East County. We are a local East County station. However, you can hear us worldwide just by going to www.themountainfm.com, and you can pick your speed and listen to us. Pick your speed. That sounds kind of funny, huh? You can click on the little, there's an icon of headphones, and then choose your downloading speed or streaming speed. That's it. And listen to us live. We have music playing during the day, during kind of just all the time, right, Mike? Yes. And I should have given you a mic, Mike. I keep forgetting to do that. And also, Mike has a show, M.T. Robinson, Forgotten Files on Saturday night, 9 to 2. And there's actually a lot of other shows. So just go to our website, check it out. You can also check out our Facebook page. Oh, and while you're on Facebook, you can go to Coach Lori Stone or CoachLoriStone.com and check out my stuff too. I'm a weight loss coach after losing 6 sizes on a program. It just inspired me so much to help others too. So I changed careers from admin to weight loss coach.
And you look marvelous.
Thank you, darling.
Absolutely.
So now I just need to go to Dr. Laverson, slurring my words, and get the rest done, huh?
Well, I want to ask you some questions about losing weight, Laura.
Okay.
How do you avoid the soda pop aisle in the grocery store?
Well, you don't have to go
baby.
into it. You don't even have to go into it. You know, the outside edge of the grocery store is where most of all the healthy food is anyway.
Stay in the produce aisle.
Produce, yeah. It's lean protein, a lot of vegetables, fruits and vegetables. The program I was on was actually Medifast, so for a time I avoided high glycemic foods, and for about 4 months, and I lost the weight. And then you slowly introduce the healthy carbs and food back in. So and then that trains your body, kind of retrains you. You develop better habits that way, and there you go, and then you have it. So I still have to watch it because the reasons for me eating, sometimes there's still like little stress comes on, and there's those urges again. So changing the brain, it's hard to do that part. But then I just watch it again, and I just take it easy on the glycemic foods and the lasagna, which I make so well because I make my own homemade noodles and make homemade lasagna, which is wonderful. But
low-cal lasagna.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I
real.
really do need to cut. I showed Lori how to make it the other day. We had a little class with Lori and another friend of mine, Laura. So we had 2 Loris and a Laura, and I rolled that pasta, and I showed you how to make fettuccine as well.
Yes.
And we had that for lunch. We just whipped it out and had it. But like I said online, do not try this at home if you were on the 5-in-1 program.
But it was very healthy lasagna and very healthy fettuccine because we were using the good organic eggs. We were using fabulous fresh herbs from your garden. It was such a great experience, and I enjoyed it so much and learned so much. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Well, now I have to freeze it because I'm going to try to avoid that for now. But anyway, back to the doc. So, what we were talking a lot about surgical things, and I'm sure we can talk probably for a long time about surgery. But what are some non-surgical options to help enhance our youthful appearance?
The non-surgical cosmetic treatments have become much more popular recently as more choices have become available. And these are mostly injectable product, the laser treatments, topical skincare. All these things really make a difference now, and they're great because there's no recovery time. They're office procedures, and they can maintain your appearance for a long time and really fix minor problems and make a difference. The most popular one, I guess, most have heard of is the neuromodulators. That's a broad category of injectable treatments, and Botox is the most popular. Botox is a brand name, but that's a botulinum toxin, and it's scary. The word toxin. Oh my God, it's poison. Stay away from it. But it is extremely safe. Again, when used by trained physicians, and there's a lot more than just the product. I mean, there are injection techniques. You got to know the anatomy. You have to understand aesthetics, where this thing fits in. You don't want to overdo it. But the toxin is when it's taken in a huge dose. The amount that we use in the office for cosmetic applications is infinitesimal, very, very, very small. And we use it in a very localized area, so it has a targeted, very specific effect. And it's popular because you just don't wrinkle anymore in the areas that it's used. And it's only really designed to be used in very specific facial muscle groups for cosmetic reasons. It's FDA approved for those squint lines between your brows, and just recently the FDA also approved it for the little crow's feet on the sides of the eyes. And it's also used, Lori.
These?
Yeah, those things. You don't have many, Lori.
He's just such a charmer, isn't he?
How old are you? 37?
Oh, that was a good response.
That's interesting. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's interesting when I'll talk to someone about, I'm having my Botox redone, or I've just had my Botox done, and they look at me with horror on their face. How could you shoot that into your body? And yet they're standing there with a Diet Coke, which is chemical laden, eating a sandwich on white bread and smoking a cigarette. I think, really? Are you saying this to me right now?
Well, Botox is natural. It's a natural. It's a natural chemical that it's made by these organisms that was sort of serendipitously discovered. Botox was originally approved as a drug for the eye muscles, patients that can't really move their eyes normally, and it was used very specifically in those tiny little muscles that move the eye. And then I guess a couple of different doctors noticed that, hey, these people aren't wrinkling. And then the company that made it, Allergan, right here in Orange County, started marketing it for that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. So looking at me, so what? I got about a number, Roman numeral 3?
Yeah, it's those, they call them the 11s, those vertical lines between the brow.
Go ahead and describe what you would have done.
Well, again, the anatomy is important, and this is why it's good to go to somebody who understands it. Is the muscles that cause that? There are a few tiny muscles between the brows, just underneath the eyebrows, and that's exactly where we put the product. And takes a few days to work, and really, there's never been any bad side effects from it. As scary as it sounds, it's pretty safe, and millions of people have used it.
So, for my face, if I came in, I'm guessing you would do Botox here, between my eyebrows, and on my crow's feet, and
sometimes we
forehead.
Use it. Yeah, sometimes we often use it in the forehead. A lot of folks that have these creases across the forehead that are deepening with age. you've got bangs and you cover it up pretty well. Some folks wear their hair back or to the side, or they've got particularly deep creases. I even get younger folks come in and they're not even really concerned about what's on their face. They come in and say, hey, my parents or my mother, father has these deep creases and I never want to get them. So, they want treatment even before they've hardly developed those.
And it's a preventative. It's a great preventative
exactly.
one, isn't it? Yeah.
I have a girlfriend who is 19 who has her crow's feet done and her 11s done, which of course she has none. But I'll tell you what, I mean, to never get that initial little baby line, it would just be so amazing, as opposed to, oh my goodness, look what I have, I've got to take care of it. So she is just softening. You can barely see anything there, but oh gosh, to have had that opportunity when I was 18 or 19.
Yeah. Oh, that to me, that just sounds so bizarre, like so young. But I know now that it is a preventative. Yeah. So I thought I want to reiterate a little bit, because if there's people out there listening that are going, what are they talking about? Shooting toxins in their body and crow's feet and what? A bird? But so we do have specific lines on our lines that develop from squinting, from talking. If you're a smoker, you might have some, different lines, laughing.
Doing your checkbook, your taxes, taking care of teenagers.
Yes, teenagers. There's one. And these
You've
lines.
earned those lines.
Yes, we have our tiger
Darn
stripes.
it all. But they're, as they, and aging, we lose elasticity. We lose what fluids? We kind of, or collagen. What is it?
Oh gosh, the aging process is so complicated, and
so depressing.
And, we don't really understand it completely. Everything that's going on, but we're addressing.
Cells are dying.
Yeah. Well, they're changing. There's always turnover in the body, and this is something we all have to deal with. If you live long enough, you're going to start showing it. But and the other broad category, Lori, is these fillers that go directly into creases, and that's what we call static lines. We treat these static lines, the lines that are there even when you're not expressing yourself, and there are fillers out there. It's natural, it's manufactured. They get genetic techniques to make, basically, microorganisms produce the hyaluronic acid, which is the most hyaluronic. It's a non-animal stabilized product, and we just put it right in the creases, and it lasts for months and months. It's not a permanent treatment, but the products out there, Restylane, Perlane, Juvederm, Belotero, these are hyaluronic products that are approved for direct injection into creases to smooth out the lines that are there, even when you're not animating your face.
I want to ask more about fillers. We're going to be going to another quick commercial break, but definitely want to know more about fillers and lips too. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to Living for Wellness. Yes, Lori.
I have a question. Will you please explain the wonder drug, certainly one of my favorite drugs, or it's not even a drug, I'm sorry, filler, Radiesse, and how amazing it is and why it is so amazing, and then it lasts so long.
And then how do we get it now? No.
Make your appointment. You can call.
Yeah, Radiesse, it's marketed by Merz Aesthetics is the company, MERZ, and it's a hydroxyapatite, calcium hydroxyapatite filler. It lasts longer than the hyaluronic fillers that we talked about, and the Radiesse, it really is a great product. You can shape certain areas of the face, and it's not good for what I would say are superficial creases. Superficial meaning close to the surface, the fine lines, like, for example, around the lips. You don't use Radiesse for that. You use Radiesse to really fix aging contours, more deeper aging contours. I use it frequently in front of the jowls. I'll use it to fill up hollows of the lower eyelids. I'll use it in the temples. I'll use it, augment the cheeks, and it's good to really, it's that liquid facelift that you might have read about or heard about. It's not really a facelift, but it's the injectables that we use to reshape the face and restore more youthful contours, and it does make a big difference, Lori.
I know I had the apples of my cheeks done, where it just gave me just a little bit. I have the Indian cheekbones, and it just gave me just a little bit extra, and almost created somewhat of a lift in my whole marionette area, and I just loved it, and it lasted for about a year and a half.
Wow, that's great. That's a good result, if it lasts that long. And sometimes, these products do cause your own body to make collagen, so they last longer than you anticipate they're going to. And a few millimeters can make a big difference in the face. We human beings are very visual, and there's so many millions and millions of different faces, yet you can recognize somebody that you know. I mean, how can we distinguish one person from another? It's just these fine differences in facial features. Our anatomy is all the same basically, but just millimeters difference in proportion. And it's the same with aging. You can just fill a crease or lift an area, change the way shadows and light fall on an area, and restore a youthful appearance.
Well, that I didn't even think about that. Just almost an illusion using like shading. If you lift a certain area, then underneath it's going to be a little bit darker, and thereby contouring. Is that what's happened?
Yeah, and that's
awesome.
Yeah, that's part of the whole idea of these treatments, is just trying to understand the anatomy of aging and try and reverse it, treat it. To try and correct certain features to change the way the patient and others see their face.
And you're an expert at that, in the areas like just the right spot where to put things. And
yeah, it really is an art and a skill that you develop over time, because these fillers, you have to go at the right depth and put it in the exact right place, because they're costly. They're expensive products. They're made by a lot of them recombinant DNA technology, other technologies, and so the patient, when they're coming in for this, they want to get the most value, the most of result for the least cost. So you can't go too deep with it, or else you won't see the result. You can't go too superficial, or you can see lumps or problems from it. So you got to go at just the right depth, just the right place, and make that syringe go as far as possible.
so what about the puffy bags under the eyes? That's something that I've been noticing as I get older, and not sleeping.
That's a great radius zone.
It is. Well, actually, I've used Radius there. It's got its good and bad points for that. The fillers are good in general for younger patients that don't have loose skin of the lower eyelids. But, if they're real, what some people refer to as bags or hollows or shadows in there, sometimes, surgery is still the gold standard for that. But if I can fix it with filler, that's always my preference, because, it's an afternoon treatment, and the next day they're back at work. But it's tricky. Everybody's different, and it's sort of one of those things I address on an individual basis.
Okay, so I'd like to broach a subject, because everyone my age and even younger, and I know that I've had my lips done, and it was like a reawakening, a rebirth, if you will, of actually having your lips done, which helps to take care of the feathering that all of the totally cute lip glosses, they feather in your lips. But having the Juvederm in the lips and filling up the lips really helps to alleviate a lot of that problem.
Yeah, those fillers are great for the fine creases, but the fine creases around the lips, Lori, it's what I call a multi-dimensional approach, meaning you can use a laser to smooth those out. You can use laser, you can use filler, and usually it's a combination. Very often it's a combination of the two. There's one sort of group of procedures that I do in the office pretty commonly, and that is reshaping the lips. A lot of people don't realize, they'll come in for filler, but if the lips aren't in a youthful position, then the filler can actually create an unnatural appearance. So sometimes lip reshaping procedures are necessary, and I do lip lifts and what I call anguloplasties, different sort of things to move the lips around, lift the lips. The relationship of the teeth to the lips is important for aesthetics, and those are things have to be taken into account. Sometimes filler is just not right for.
So I like that. So you don't just start injecting to make it. You actually do. Like, I have wanted to do that because I have, my lips are I'm aging, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
But so you would have to do something else to them besides just fill?
Well, again, I'm looking at you, Lori. You look pretty good, and I always try when patients come in. I try to give them the most for the least, and that means, again, the most improvement for the least expense, the least recovery time. Everybody's different, though. People come in with a specific budget, a specific thing that bothers them, and so I want to address it as best I can. If I can do it with a filler, then that's usually preferable to surgery. But again, the downside of the fillers is they're temporary. A lot of patients don't want to keep coming back. They want something more permanent. So I'll do, there are more permanent ones. The surgery is permanent, the lip lift, the corner lift, what we call a V to Y plasty, these procedures inside the lips that change the shape to more sensuous. You can improve the pout of the lips and sort of different things. But there's both the volume and the shape of the lips that we can adjust.
I notice if I eat too much salt, my lips look better.
You're sucking on lemons. That's the opposite.
Unfortunately, everything else doesn't look so hot. I want all these things done. I hear you talking. It's like, I need that. Wow. Okay, so let's see. We talked about the bags under the eyes. So there's different things then that sometimes fillers is it, but maybe for me, I would need a lift.
Yeah.
And you would go under the lid? What do you do?
Well, again, the lower eyelids, I look at them critically. Like, for example, most people don't realize that the eyelid skin is the thinnest in the body, and you're constantly blinking, and it's really just about the first area on the face in many people to show aging. So those little fine skin creases and wrinkling on the bottom side of each of those is a shadow, and the cumulative effect of those shadows is a dark area. Now, some people also have blood vessels there that contribute to the shadow, and others have like a little bulge of fat, and on the bottom side of that bulge, it's also a shadow. So then you've got to look at the bony structure underneath that. How prominent are the patient's cheeks, and all these things sort of need to be evaluated, and then you decide on a treatment or choice of treatments that and go over them with each patient and simulate them and discuss cost of the treatment, the longevity of the treatment. Sometimes somebody comes in and it's pretty clear they need a filler or they need a surgery, but usually there's more than one choice. Sometimes, again, it's multidisciplinary. You can smooth skin out with a laser. You can reposition the fat to turn an area that's absorbing light into an area that reflects light. It looks much more youthful. And so these are things that, again, I decide on individually and go over in the mirror with each person.
Wow. I just as I listen to you and the things that you are telling us that I have never even given consideration to, the light and this and that. But I think it makes me think how important it is to really do your research when you're choosing someone to alter your face or your body. It's very important to do your research.
That's a good point,
when you're checking
Lori.
out a surgeon.
That's a really good point, because there are so many out there that are in this for the wrong reasons, and the fact is, if a doctor or a practitioner doesn't have the highest standards for his or her own training, what kind of standards do you think they're going to have for your care? I mean, really, this is like the rest of medicine. It's the patient welfare is really what we're in this for.
I just I admire you. So what? Okay, I was just thinking there was another thing, two things actually. One, what about the people? We talked about after breast cancer, reconstruction. But what about people with acne scars, sun damage? We just did a show on melanoma here, and there's issues that come with that, and so, or the pigmentation, like freckles and
tell us
moles.
all about your laser.
Yeah, well, you bring up a lot of points. We're talking about aesthetics here, but it's in general, patients want to be aware of skin cancers, the need for sun protection. We all love the sun. That's why we're here in San Diego. But being sun smart is important. If you have moles, lesions that are pigmented, you want to make sure they're not growing. If there's any question about a particular pigmented lesion, it's always good to see a doctor and ask about it. The lasers we use are there are a variety of lasers out there, and again, they're great tools, but that's all they are, is tools to achieve an end. So what I'll do is really look at an individual patient's problem, complaint, and if it's something that can be corrected with laser, then that's certainly a choice that I'll bring up for them.
Great.
So you were also talking. Oh, by the way, you're listening to KRLY. 107.9
FM, the Mountain.
I'm like, that's right. I am so intrigued with this.
It's kind of hard to pay attention to anything else.
So so I just wanted to add that in. But so you were talking about like the little fine lines and things like that. Now, can also skincare regime help with that? Is that all part of it? And I know I would love to have Joanne on.
Yeah, Joanne is she's got a great group of products.
Wait, let's back up
who
for a
is
minute.
Joanne,
Yeah, let's back up for a
Laverson?
second. Joanne.
Well, Joanne is my wife, and I'm glad you bring her up because she stood behind me and put up with me for 25 years now, 26 years.
Congratulations!
And she deserves some kind of award for that.
And does she? Oh my, she is amazing. I don't know if we talked for like an hour. We were both like high energy and we're like bouncing off each other. But she's amazing, and she talks so highly of you. It's just awesome.
Yeah. So. Well, I really love the products that she came out with us, and I can tell you how it started. Is we used to have these. There are a lot of skincare lines out there, so people probably think, oh, it's just another skincare line. But honestly, we used to have people come in the office, the salespeople, and they wanted me to carry their line and put it in the office, and figuring, if the doctor recommends it, that people are gonna buy it, and we looked at these lines, and there are a lot of good products out there, but I looked at the cost of these products and the effectiveness of the products, and really found out that there wasn't any particular line that I felt good attaching my name to, and this is when we really started doing some research into the components. And Joanne has worked in my office for years, and all of her girlfriends would ask her what they should be using, what's best, and these are women that are spending all kinds of money on skincare, department store brands and fancy brands, the heavily marketed brands, and I looked at the ingredients of most of them and found really, these things are they're not doing anything more than just basic moisturizing functions, and a lot of them have fancy ingredients, designer ingredients, but the skin is a barrier. It's a barrier to penetration of bacteria. It's a barrier to water loss. So a lot of these pseudo-active ingredients don't really penetrate, and they don't really have the activity that they're promoted for. So this is why she started working on a line that she felt like we could stand behind, and that our integrity, we could advertise to patients and offer patients without compromising our integrity.
Well, I have to say that we just panned in on that, and so we'll post it later. But I received some to try, and I'm so excited. It was awesome so far. I just received it. I've only done it a couple days, but the microfoliator.
Yeah, that's fun to use. That's great. I love it in the shower. Guys love it, by the way. We have some Marines from Camp Pendleton. They love it. We have a former NFL National Football League player who loves it, and I know it's the women that use skincare a lot, but I like that. It's tdwskincare.com.
The doctor's wife.
Yeah, it's good
It's
stuff.
awesome.
The microfoliator's great.
Yeah, and then Betta Rose's Rich Cream, which I just got this one because, so I didn't try this one yet, but I did try the cute little sample. I don't know if you can see that. There's it's the cutest thing. I just love it. Anyway, this is a cucumber type cream. So
Yeah,
there's two moisturize. I mean, I have two moisturizing creams here.
Yeah, the rose and the cucumber moisturizer.
Oh my gosh,
They're nice.
I love it. It's like a little ritual. I wash my
yeah.
face and I use each one. Oh, I
I'm
feel
glad you like
beautiful.
it, Lord.
Oh my gosh! And then I noticed when I put my makeup on, it went on nicer after. So, I mean, it's new. I just tried it. It's only been a couple days, but I noticed a great difference already.
Well, thanks, Lori. You know, the moisturizer is also good for holding the mineral makeup on. The mineral makeup is good because it's got zinc and titanium dioxide, which are great sunblocks. They're broad spectrum, block the entire wavelength of UVA and UVB. UVA is ultraviolet A, UVB is ultraviolet B, and UVB causes the tanning and UVB causes tanning. UVA causes skin cancer in the longer wavelength. So the mineral makeup is good with the sunblock, and that moisturizer really helps it stick on. And to have the kind of sunblock effectiveness, you want to use enough of it and have that mineral makeup really stay on.
Okay. Well, good. Well, I'm excited to keep using it and see. You know, I'm monitoring so that I can give a little update on how awesome it is.
So, Dr. Laverson, tell us, for all of us who have our kids back in school now, and we're starting to get about the things of life, and I hate to say this, but Christmas is right around the corner, and all those holiday parties are right around the corner, and it's about time for me to be re-upped with some of my fillers and my neurotoxins, I think you called them. Nice way to say Botox Dysport. How do we get in touch with you? How do we make an appointment with you? Come in for a consultation? Maybe we need something else other than the Botox. Tell me about this.
Well, you want to talk to the girls in the office. Samantha and Jennifer will take the call at 760-753-6464. We're up in Encinitas on El Camino Real. And we can also be reached through the website. It's feelbeautiful.com, all one word, FEELBEAUTIFUL.com, and we'd love to see you in the office.
Fabulous. Ladies, did you get that number? Let's repeat it one more time, please.
760-753-6464.
Excellent. And I know that there is quite the craze over the mineral makeup right now. I know I'm a major fan of it. I haven't been in the sun since I was 16 because not only in our family do we wrinkle young, but we also are real prone to skin cancer. And I'm so excited. I would love to try your moisturizer because anything that will help to hold that makeup on would be fabulous.
I did really notice a difference. I was like, hey,
nice.
It kind of went on smooth. So, yeah, that's great. Anything else? Any last things that maybe I didn't?
And can we order
about?
your makeup online, and do you ship, or do we need to come right into the office and pick it up?
There's a different website for her, right? And you can get there from
let's
yours.
Hear about it.
Yeah, you can link to it from feelbeautiful.com. And, you know, it's a pleasure to be here on the Mountain FM. But if there are any further questions out there, don't hesitate to call. Again, 760-753-6464 and feelbeautiful.com.
Yeah, and you will feel beautiful. Well, thank you for joining me. And Lori, thank you again for co-hosting with me. And Mike, thanks for the engineering. And you know what? I didn't have a chance to introduce Josh, but we'll talk about him because Josh has been recording us, and we're going to actually get to put a podcast online. So I'm so excited for that. Josh, what's your last name? Josh what?
Janway. Josh
Now
Janway.
let him say it.
Janway.
Josh Janway. Okay, thanks for joining us and for filming. So they'll be excited to have it up. And again, thank you so much, Dr. Laverson. I am excited, and I will have to come visit you at your office.
Lori and Lori.
Yes.
Lori and Lori.
Great
Yeah,
team.
it's the Loris. Yeah, and I look forward to meeting your wife in person. We had such a great chat. And yeah, you can get her website straight from feelbeautiful.com. And I am going to have Joanna on the show so she can talk about her personal website and all the cool products there. Alrighty. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Ciao.
Why it means so much to me.